Good morning, everybody,
Good morning.
and welcome to the Niagara Falls Church this weekend before Sunday. The deadline is looming on us, isn't it? Our opening words this morning are from Leah Ongiri. This is a season of repair, a time to reflect on how we might endure when life tears at us. We are held by the great book of life, in which it is written that we will inevitably face deprivation and discomfort, longing and forgiveness. Each among us must contemplate our own place in it all. As those of us in relationship with Judaism mark the high holy days, our hearts fill with hope and fear, turning and settling, mystery and agency, accountability and acceptance. Let us gather today in somber celebration of our shared humanity and our personal power. Come, let us worship together. And will you join me in the opening words for lighting the chalice, which are written in your order of service? And I'm sure we have someone there who's willing to light the chalice for us. May the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to harm, and not to help and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, Spirit of freedom. And will you join me in singing the first hymn, which is number 16, "'Tis a Gift to be Simple."
Tis a gift to be simple. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed. To turn, will be our delight, till by turning we come round right. Tis a gift to be simple, tis a gift to be free, tis a gift to come down where we ought to be, and when we find ourselves in a place just right. To bow and to bend, we should be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning we've come round right. Sorry, I've got a fog.
That's okay. And we will be seated and move on to our responsive reading, which is number 441 in the back of your hymnal. It is called "To Worship." To worship is to stand in awe under a heaven of stars, before a flower, a leaf in sunlight, or a grain of sand. To worship is to be silent, receptive, before a tree astir with the wind, or the passing shadow of a cloud. To worship is to work with dedication and with skill. It is to pause from work and listen to a strain of music. Worship is a loneliness, seeking communion. It is a thirsty land crying out for rain. Worship is a kindred fire within our hearts. It moves through deeds of kindness and through acts of love. Worship is a mystery within us, reaching out to the mystery beyond. It is an inarticulate silence, yearning to speak. It is the window of the moment open to the sky of the eternal. And now let's take a moment to honor the joys and concerns of the members of our congregation. Who would like to start us off? And please pick up the microphone so I can hear you all. Does anyone have a joy or a concern? Ah, yes.
I have, today is Madison's birthday. She's 20 years old. I have no more teenagers.
Oh,
Yay. And you can get your steps in while you're honoring your joys and concerns in this congregation. Do you have any more? Anyone else want to mention a joy or a concern? Doesn't someone want to say they're happy they weren't living in Orchard Park and snowed out or in a whiteout during the Bills game yesterday? No. Okay. Well, if someone would light one last candle for all of the unspoken joys and concerns in our congregation, I would appreciate that. And let us move on to taking the offertory, which helps support the good work of this church and keep us open so that we can come and worship here together each Sunday. have a meditation reading by Laura Horton Ludwig. It is called For What Shall We Give Thanks? And then afterwards, we'll have just a moment of silence before we start the sermon. The wheel of the year has turned again. Once more, the holiday season has arrived. How shall we sing our song of gratitude now? For what shall we give thanks? For this moment, for friends near and far, for our bereft, for love, for courage and clarity, for strength, for delight, for laughter, for beauty, for the tables around which we gather, for the food we enjoy with friends, seasoned with love and memories, for the sun and moon and stars in the sky, for the trees who have seen so much and still stand so proud, stretching themselves to the sky, for the bright voices of children, for the wisdom of elders, for actions that bless the world, for hard work that makes a difference, for music and art and celebration, for generosity, for compassion, for endurance, for joy, and for hope. For all of these things, we give thanks and we worship together. And now let's just have a moment of silence. So what about gifts and gift giving? This year for me, it started in October, well before Halloween. By it, I mean the inevitable gift conversation started. And the first one was with my chiropractor, Sarah. I'm starting now, she said, and I'm going to buy one gift a week until Christmas. Apparently, she has a large extended family, including her own kids, nieces and nephews, siblings, parents, and of course, her husband. Her strategy was that if she bought one thing for one person every week, she would have time to think about what she was getting and she'd end up with some really meaningful gifts. I wish I was going to be there to ask her how it all worked out. I'm pretty sure that by now she's frazzled and burned out with thinking about those meaningful gifts. How many people can you buy for and still be sure every gift has a meaning? When did gift giving become a chore rather than a joy and a privilege? When you think about it, giving something to someone benefits both you and the recipient. It's a sign that you can allow yourself to be generous enough to spare either the gift or whatever it cost you. It's a sign you hold the person that you are giving it to in high enough regard you want to do something for them. And then seeing someone enjoy and appreciate a gift you've chosen for them is in its own way a gift back to you. Gift giving should be a full circle act. But in our capitalist society, and maybe just because, like Sarah, we try so hard to fulfill too many people's expectations at this time of year, we kind of lose touch with the meaning of giving. The New York Times and probably a plethora of other publications published an article last week called Unpacking the Psychology of Gift Giving. What makes for a great gift? And the subtitle is Attention, Empathy, and a Little Bit of Espionage. This article says that context is everything. Have you paid attention to the actual needs and wants of the person receiving the gift rather than what you want to give them? Did you put the recipient first? Gifts are an expression of feeling, says Dr. Bonnie Bushell, a psychoanalyst from Kansas City. Good gifts say the giver knows you. Bad gifts say the giver does not. And bad gifts can leave an individual with very bad feelings for a long, long time. This year, if I were a rich man, yabba dabba dibba 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 dum, I would give but one gift to every adult that I know. It would be the book Braiding Sweetgrass by Wall Kimmerer. In addition to being an author, Kimmerer is an Indigenous woman and a botanist. The subtitle of her book is Indigenous Wisdom, Scientific Knowledge, and the Teaching of Plants. It is all about gifts and giving. Gifts, according to Kimmerer, come to you through no action of your own, free, having moved toward you without your beckoning. This is exactly opposite to what our children are learning from us. Gifts to them are expected to commemorate birthdays, Christmas or Hanukkah, or as rewards for having behaved well or having done well in school. Gifts have parameters. They are something that the child wants, not something they need, something they want. Typically, it's something that's been advertised to them. So, although they may not have known a few months ago that they wanted the thing, yes, now they want it. But think about Kimmerer's approach. Gifts should come to you. Last June, my daughter did not know what to get my grandson Sebastian for his birthday. And let's be honest, the kid's pretty spoiled, especially when it comes to video games and devices, everything of that nature known to our young people, which I know nothing about. My other daughter, Natalie, suggested to Blythe that she give Sebastian a keyboard for his birthday. I was there when he opened it. He was surprised, but underwhelmed. Why did you get me a keyboard? He said. Wasn't something he'd asked for, wasn't something that had been advertised to him. After about a week of exploring it, and you know what those things are like, they make sounds like a full orchestra. I said to him, would you like a few piano lessons to help you get started with the keyboard? Yeah, he said, that would be good. At that point, I hadn't given him anything for his birthday because I didn't really know what to do. So anyway, I called the local music school and I signed him up with a fellow named Brian. Blythe is divorced and her ex-husband has been less than attentive to Sebastian. So I thought a male piano teacher might help fill that void just a little. Well, you know how this story ends. Nani, me, who thought she was buying piano lessons for a month, is now paying by the month until who knows when, probably infinity. Sebastian absolutely loves his keyboard and his piano lessons. It has given him so much pleasure and more pleasure than most of the other devices that he plays with. It's brought to his life a male role model, and it's given him the gift of music. It's also given Blythe and I the gift of watching a child uncover a talent for something that he truly loves. And if you're wondering about the tip jar I wanted to put on the altar, I'm collecting for the piano that I'm eventually going to have to buy to replace the keyboard. This unexpected and unwanted gift just came to Sebastian. This all leads me to what Kimmerer says about gifts, true gifts. Gifts from the earth or from each other establish a particular relationship, an obligation of sorts to give, to receive, and to reciprocate. Or, as writer Lewis Hyde says, it's the cardinal difference between gift and commodity exchange that a gift establishes a feeling bond between two people. So Dr. Bushell is right. A feeling bond, a particular relationship. This, Kimmerer says, is what lies at the heart of gift giving. My chiropractor, Sarah, was trying to find gifts that were meaningful, that would really touch the person she was giving them to. But perhaps instead of going on Amazon, she could have begun with looking around her own house, looking at her own talents, looking at the gifts that the earth provides us. For these are gifts that really touch us and knit us together with the interdependent web of life. Kimmerer says, a gift creates an ongoing relationship. She recalls a pair of mittens that her grandmother knitted for her. Such a different kind of gift than the mittens that might have come from the local J.C. Penney's. These mittens probably existed in the store, but as Kimmerer says, I will write a thank you note. I will take good care of them. And if I am a very gracious grandchild, I'll wear them when she visits, even if I don't really like them. When it's her birthday, I will surely make her a gift in return. Gifts are one of the building blocks of relationships. It's the thought that counts. And the thought counts because the person puts time and effort into the gift. And good gifts become better still if, when you grow out of the mittens that your grandmother knitted for you, you pass them on to your younger sister. Regifting. Regifting is part of Indigenous life. It's not something to be mocked or scoffed at as it is in a capitalist society. Kimmerer is a botanist, and as such, she views the fruits of the earth as gifts to us humankind. She tells a story of how her father's favorite berry was always strawberries. So for his birthday, she and her sister would go out and pick a basket full of wild strawberries, which he in turn shared with them. As Kimmerer writes, that is the fundamental nature of gifts. They move and their value increases with their passage. The fields made a gift of berries to us, and we made a gift of them to our Father. The more something is shared, the greater its value becomes. This is a vision of gifting that I had not thought about before. The more something is shared, the greater its value becomes. And this doesn't have to apply to physical things. We each come with gifts. Some of us are good at storytelling. Some create music. Math people keep our finances on track. Healers heal. Gardeners bring us food and they bring us beauty. Those who love to work with food make eating an adventure and tasty experience for the rest of us. I could go on and on. Our individual gifts are nothing if they are not shared. But when shared, they are like seedlings reaching up from the earth, unfolding and growing and becoming real, palpable things that make a difference to the people around us that they touch and to the whole world. Think about the things that you now own that once belonged to somebody else. Those things trigger memories of the person who gave them to you. They develop their own cachet, The more owners, the greater their value becomes. Kimmerer's message is that there is a vast difference between the indigenous vision of a gift and the capitalist vision of a gift. Indigenous people, she says, see the value of gifts as based on reciprocity. What we are given, we are supposed to give away. Gifts create a series of relationships. Capitalists see gifts as a means of making profits. Relationships have little to do with the purpose of gift-giving season that we are approaching. And yet, like my chiropractor, Sarah, we all want our gifts to be meaningful. We are not actually focused as much on what we receive, but on what we give. If we buy one gift a week, can we make each gift meaningful, well thought out, a contribution to the recipient's life? I have a newer vision of gifts. It's a little dash of Kimmerer, a little dash of capitalism, and a little dash of me. I agree with Kimmerer. Gifts are connectors. They build foundations for our relationships. Even bad gifts define how we relate to one another or don't relate. I relate to the indigenous view that this earth is a gift we have been given to support our life experience. From the natural resources that we use to create comfort, to the foods we eat, to the energy we use to fuel our many conveniences, this blue marble floating in space is the giving source of our existence. I view gifting as one of the threads that weaves us human beings together. Look at the tradition of world leaders presenting each other with tokens when they get together. They are gifts from their individual cultures, and that is a tradition that has gone on from time immemorial. What does that say? As Leah Ongiri said in her reflection, we are held by the great book of life in which it is written that we will inevitably face deprivation and discomfort, longing and forgiveness. Each of us must contemplate our own place in it all. We each do have a place in it all. We are connected to everyone and everything that surrounds us. Without our connections, how could we get through the deprivation, discomfort, and longing? How could we find forgiveness? Our connections help us survive the trials of life and celebrate the triumphs of it. And gifts are a way of sharing and strengthening our connections. Gifts are shared pieces of ourselves. I can't give you a piece of my mind or my heart, but I can give you this sample of my thoughts. I want you to know me, and I want to know you. I show myself through my gifts to you, and you reciprocate. This is how we build relationships. This is how we know we're not alone in the world. So be it, and blessed be. And we will now sing the Christmas carol that's infamous for gifts. We Three Kings of Orient are in the hymnal number 259.
We three kings of Orient are, bearing gifts we traverse afar, field and fountain, moor and mountain, following yonder star. Oh, star of wonder, star of light, star of royal beauty bright, westward leading. Frank
And do we have any announcements this morning?
I think I did want to mention that next week is Christmas. And did you want to say what you guys had planned?
No.
No. I know Susan was going to be doing, was it 7 hymns?
Yeah, we picked 7 songs.
7 songs.
Yes. All Christmas. Oh, no, there's some Hanukkah thrown
You'll have
there.
to come and find out. Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds like fun to me. Are there any others? Okay, our closing words are from Eric Williams, and it's called the 4-element blessing. May the firmness of the earth be yours. May the flow of water be yours. May the freedom of the air be yours. May the fierceness of the fire be yours. May all of the gifts of this life, the below and the above, be with you now and remain with you always. And will you join me in the words for extinguishing the chalice, which are written in the order of service? We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And join us for coffee hour.
It was late and snow was falling as the shoppers hurried by, past the girlie at the window with her little head held high. They were closing up the toy shop as I hurried through the door, just in time to buy the dolly that her heart was longing for. Shake me, I rattle, squeeze me, I cry, and I gave her the dolly that we both had longed to buy. Shake me, I rattle, squeeze me, I cry. Please take me home and love me. Oh. I haven't had a frog in a while, but it's right in there.
That's too bad. Sorry. You still sound wonderful. You and your frog.
Merry Christmas, Donna.
Merry Christmas to you all too. And just as a little tip, I have found that there's actually a reason for gifting frankincense and myrrh, because if you buy it as an essential oil, it's very good for neuropathy. The older we get, the more we learn about old cures that actually work, right? So if you know someone who's got any neuralgia or neuropathy, buy them some frankincense and myrrh. It's available on Amazon, of course. Very nice to see you, and I'll see you in February. I'm sending a substitute for January because I'm going to be going to Kenya. So it was kind of an unexpected opportunity that came up, and I couldn't pass it up. So if I don't go now, I'll never go. So I'm sure I'll have some stories about lions and tigers when I come
And
back.
lots of pictures.
And lots of pictures. I will take lots of pictures, believe me. Take care, everybody, and have a wonderful Christmas and New Year's.
You too.